to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at the University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Oregon is headed to the Super Regional. Big Ten champions, your Oregon Ducks.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We've got details on the Oregon football spring game. The Ducks announcing it yesterday after, or I should say before, the Oregon football team was honored at the men's basketball game last night. It was cool to see the whole team coming out and get the standing round of applause at halftime. A men's basketball victory in that game, by the way. The Ducks stopping the losing streak. Great to see it. We'll talk with men's basketball head coach Dane Altman, also Jackson Shellstad and Keyshawn Barthélemy coming up. Women's lacrosse, a nice win yesterday. Some more details on that win as they went final right around the time we went final on Duck Insider yesterday. And it's Oregon women's basketball game day. The Ducks and the Dogs tonight against Washington. It is a 6 o'clock start, 5:30 pregame show with Chris Clayton and Bev Smith. That's tonight at Matthew Knight Arena. Oregon women's basketball back in action. Kelly Graves sat down in the Country Financial Studio with Chris Clayton earlier this week. We have that for you on the horizon today, as well as a number of Oregon softball and Oregon baseball interviews with the Diamond Sports ramping up. Oregon softball, 5-0 last weekend, getting ready to start their trip to Arizona tomorrow against Arizona State. A few other sports in action this weekend, too. In fact, a lot of other sports in action this weekend, too. Spring sports are ramping up. Winter sports are into crunch time down the stretch, and a good win for men's basketball last night that we'll get to. First, though, those details. Oregon football team's annual spring game, Saturday, April 26th, 1 p.m. Pacific time kickoff at Autzen Stadium. Game will be on the Big Ten Network as well as the Oregon Sports Network. We'll have the call right here. Admission to the spring game is free. Fans are encouraged to bring non-perishable food items to donate to Food for Lane County, no different than years past. Fans can secure parking passes for the spring game by going to GoDucks.com. Click on the story that has all the details on the spring game, and you can find a link to get your parking pass. Current football season ticket holders will be able to save up to 33% on their passes when they sign into their account. The Oregon baseball team will take on Oregon State at 4 p.m. at PK Park following the spring game. Oh, it's the perfect flood of football fans into PK Park. It's one of the best times of the year. It's one of the best days of the year when you can line up a home baseball game and the spring game. Outstanding. Current football season ticket holders and DAF donors will have the first opportunity to secure tickets to that aforementioned Oregon State baseball series by going to the GoDucks.com website. Exclusive ordering period for those baseball tickets will only be available until February 28th. GoDucks.com, all the details. Click on the spring game details page that's still on the front page of GoDucks.com for all this info and the links if you missed it. 2025 football season tickets, GoDucks.com/FBTix. More details on the spring game will be made available over the coming months, including teams, format, and also a spring practice schedule because spring ball is going to be here before we know it. Men's basketball last night, Oregon 81, Northwestern 75. The Ducks, despite not scoring a field goal, the final 4:39 of the game, held off Northwestern, won it after leading 39-25 at half. They did get outscored 50-42 in the second half. I think the Ducks played about 30 good minutes in this game. Now they're trying to make it more consistent. play 40 good minutes in this game. Jackson Shellstad, a career-high 26 points. Keyshawn Barthélemy scored 19. Nate Biddle scored 14. Ty Berry had a nice day for Northwestern, scoring 23. And then Wyndham, who averaged 2 points a game, ended up with 20 for Northwestern. But the Ducks, been taying it, got off the snide. Back in the win column for Oregon men's basketball. Dana Altman, happy post-game, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Coach Altman.
A couple of weeks, do you allow yourself to make it more about results and some of the upside stuff? And
well, we had to win the game. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Our confidence hasn't been the same here the last few weeks, and so we needed to find a way to win the game. Obviously, the defense second half was disappointing. After a really impressive first half, I thought our activity defensively was really good. Guys getting hands on balls. Awareness, I thought, was pretty good. So really pleased with the first half defensively, but they go from shooting 38 and 30 in the first half to 61 and 55 in the second. So obviously not the result we were looking for. We did out-rebound them by 6, and so that was a stat we had to get. And I thought we drove the ball at the basket, and got to the free throw line and made our free throws. But we threw it inside and got some free throws, and we drove it at them and got some free throws. So that was one thing offensively. And 16 assists on 24 buckets, I like that. And I'm not disappointed with the 81 points, just disappointed in our second half defense.
How about with a shooter, when a shooter's cold, you say, hey, just if you can see one go in, that can kind of turn around momentum. Not that you take anything for granted, but as a team, getting one win, do you think,
absolutely. There's teams all across the country, have gone through losing streaks and they get a couple wins. And Kansas State beat Arizona tonight. They lost 6 in a row, won 6 in a row. Yeah, it's happening all over the country. So, no, we needed to get a win. We're at home and you need to win home games. So, desperately needed a win. But I hope, our guys can learn from it. I want them to be excited about the win and excited about the first half defensive effort, but I also want them to learn that we got to get better in that second half. That's 2 halves in a row now. We've given up 50 points in the second half. We're going to have to change that around.
Jackson said ball movement's been kind of the key word for them the last couple of weeks. And what makes your offense better when guys aren't stagnant and are sharing the ball?
Well, I think we're dribbling too much. We still are. It was better tonight. But everybody catches it and wants to make a play. And I want them to be confident and aggressive, but they also got to be smart. And that ball gets stuck and, the defense can set. Everybody catches it and puts it down one time and the defense gets set. And our ball movement just not good enough. And it's got to get better. Again, I'm focused on getting better. And I hope the players are. But defensively, I thought we got better that first half. I was really excited. Obviously, the second half wasn't as good. Rebounding, we're a +6, which was critical. They're an even rebounding team, so and their size is pretty good, so a +6 is good. But and again, I'm happy with 16 assists on 24 baskets. So we did make some plays for each other. Had a few too many turnovers the second half.
Coach, what did you see from Northwestern in the second half that kind of promoted your team about some of those defensive miscues towards the end of the game?
Well, first of all, Barry and Martinelli are really good offensive players. And then number 24 came in the game getting, 2 points a game, and he got 20. And he got it going and hit some shots on his 4 threes. So he was a big difference maker in the ball game. So, again, really good players. Barry's a really good player, grad student who's goes 4 for 5 from 3. His stat line's great. And so we knew those guys could go, and we made some mistakes on them, and they made us pay when we did.
It was consecutive possessions early in the second half where Jackson and then TJ get on the floor after loose balls. Does that show you maybe the guys are playing the kind of desperation you need given the situation you played yourself?
Well, I hope so. I hope the guys realize we got a lot of ground to make up. I'm also honest with them. Fellas, we played the 7th toughest schedule in the country. I think Ohio State's might be 6, but other than that, we've played the best schedule. We've played it tough, and so we're not where we want to be. either record-wise or playing-wise, but we do have 4 or 5 weeks here to get that corrected. And it's not going to get corrected just in ball games. We got to do it in practice, and we finally get a couple days to practice here now. We'll take tomorrow off, but we finally get a couple days to practice, and it's been 2 days, and with the travel, and I don't know if that was part of our second half, our activity, and we just stand straight up and down. Those plays where Martinelli shot those layups, I mean, we were just straight up and down, everybody, and so didn't do a very good job at all.
Coach, how much do you appreciate 25 of 28 from the line?
We needed them. Our guys talked about it the other day. We missed some key free throws when we're just trying to hang with Michigan State. And I think we were figuring it up. If we would have, if Jackson would have hit his two, and TJ with the front end and would have hit his two, and Brandon would have hit his, and Supreme would have made one of his, I think it would have been a 2-point game, late there. But they went 14 for 14, Michigan State did, and that was the difference in the game. It didn't give us a chance to put any pressure on them late.
What do you think of Jackson's performance on the court tonight?
Offensively, I thought he did a good job. 4 assists, 2 turnovers. Went and got that last ball. I said, you got to get open and get it. So no, I thought he did a great job. And his stat line is really good. 8 for 11, 4 for 6, 6 for 6 from the line. So no, I thought he did a tremendous job offensively. Again, I got to put more pressure on him defensively to do a little better job. But offensively, I thought he was really good tonight.
What do you think of the 4 for 5 start from deep, and then how the team kind of continued shooting the ball?
Well, we finished 8 for 21, 38%. Key hit a big one there when we really needed it. We just got to get the right guys shooting them, and if we do that, it'll continue to get better.
How familiar are you with Rutgers and Bailey?
I'm not. I've seen him play one game. I watched one game early. Oh, when we were getting ready for Nebraska, I think. I watched that game. But, Harper's been out a little bit, Bay's been out a little bit, but when they're on the floor together, and I guess they're both back now, so we're going to have our hands full. There's no doubt. They're unbelievable talents. I saw them play, on the circuits in the summer, and that projected to be, top 3, top 5 draft picks. They are really talented, and so they got Iowa tomorrow, I believe, at home, and then us on Sunday. So we're going to have to play. They're kind of in the same boat we are, so we're both battling just to try to get back, get our games ready for late February and early March.
How's your overall feeling in the locker room right now after that win?
We needed to win, so there was joy there. But they realized that we gave up too many easy baskets in the second half, so they weren't overjoyed. We would have had to have a performance in the second half like we did the first half to really be excited. But no, we needed a win desperately, and that's, again, what happens. You lose a couple that you don't feel like you should lose. You lose a little bit of your edge, and so we needed something good to happen, and we desperately needed that win.
Ducks got the win. Now Rutgers, Sunday, 4 o'clock, back at Matthew Knight Arena. We'll talk more about this matchup as we continue. Jackson Shellstad, a career night. Keyshawn Bartholomew, good. We'll talk more Duck basketball, and then Ryan Milano's in the studio, and he's ready for Duck baseball. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. Know. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. Know by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
.49 hours and now 44 minutes until first pitch for Oregon baseball. 3 o'clock start on Valentine's Day for Duck baseball, getting ready to host Toledo. And Oregon men's basketball getting ready to host Rutgers on Sunday at 4 o'clock following a career night for Jackson Shellstad. Ducks won by 6 against Northwestern. Jackson Shellstad a career high 26 points postgame.
And it's always about process, but you allow yourself to make it more about results.
I mean, we're just happy to get back in the win column. You know, got a little ugly at the end of the game. I think we definitely need to still work on just playing a full 40 minutes of basketball at our best basketball. But we got the win, and we just got to keep the momentum going from here.
You guys started the game 4 for 5 from 3, then really trailed off towards the end. What happened?
I think we were just getting really good inside-out threes at the beginning of the game. I can't remember a lot of them, but I know somewhere at the end of the shot clock, like forced threes or off the dribble ones. So, we just got to do a good job at keep attacking, getting in the paint, and kicking out for open threes.
And no doubt you're going to come away from this field like there's things you can work on for sure, but just from a confidence point of view, how big do you think this can be for maybe various guys individually, but you guys as a group too?
I think it's huge for our confidence to finish out the conference. A lot of teams, you just got to see one win and, kind of pick your momentum back up. And honestly, I feel like we can play a lot better. So, just trying to get better every day in practice, game after game, see where it can take us.
Dan has often talked about better ball movement offensively, and 16 assists would probably suggest you guys were there.
Yeah.
Make the ball movement and just the offense.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, ball movement has kind of been the biggest topic in our practice these last couple of days. I feel like everybody feels like our offense has been a little stagnant. And, when we move the ball, we're tough to guard. And we got a lot of guys who can score, who can make plays. So, if we get the ball moving, it's going to really help our offense out.
Your thoughts on getting 25 out of 28 from the free throw line?
That was huge. I mean, that's the game right there. Michigan State, we missed. We didn't shoot it very well from the free throw line. If we would have made more, could have been a totally different game. So, making your free throws is definitely big.
What's shifted for you, Jackson, compared to the first half of the season? Because these last 10, now 11 games, your three-point numbers are very, very different from how the season started. So what shifted? What changed?
I mean, I just think, I was kind of in a shooting slump. But I just stayed in the gym and kept getting shots up. I'm confident in my shot. My coaches and teammates are confident in my shot. So, I just try to play with full confidence. And, I've been shooting it well lately. So just also credit to my teammates for getting me open too.
Season high of 26 points tonight. How's that feel?
It feels good. I'm more happy we got the win, after a few losses. I think it's just going to be big for our confidence.
That's Jackson Shellstad, and the Ducks, have a little bit more confidence now getting back on the winning side. Keyshawn Bartholomew also talked with myself and Luke Jackson postgame. I thought he said a couple interesting things that you'll want to hear, and talking about what it's like to go through the ebbs and flows of a season. Fans feel it, the broadcaster feels it, the coaches feel it, the student-athletes feel it. Keyshawn Bartholomew, some of the key stats from last night's takeaway. Keyshawn Bartholomew going to join us as the Ducks. One great number to tell you, the fewest turnovers in a game this season. The Ducks had 8 turnovers, the lowest number that the Ducks have had this season. And Keyshawn Bartholomew with another 19-point performance for him. And, well, that means he's stuck talking to us on the radio. Keyshawn, we were talking to Coach. Key, and it's just good to get better, and probably feels good just to get another win under your belt, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it feels really good to get a win. It's been a while. It's been a drought, honestly, but we just found a way. In Big Ten play, you got to find a way. Northwestern's a good team, and they competed all night long, and we just found a way at home to get a W.
How about free throws down the stretch, Key? I know you pride yourself on your free throw shooting. You guys hit some down the stretch.
Well, you just said I pride myself. I missed one. I was 5 for 6, but everybody else, you look down to Brandon, Nate, Jackson, all 100%.
Yeah.
But we did a good job, 25-28. We'll live with that as a team, and that's a good way to close games.
How about the ball movement in the first half, Key? 15 assists in the first half for you.
That was good. We talked about it as a group during the week that our ball movement has to get better, and it starts with us guards just making plays for other people, making sure everybody's getting their touches, and I feel like everybody bought into that today, and hopefully it carries on to other games.
Rutgers is coming up, and Coach is saying hey, okay, it's a step in the right direction, get better. But Keys, there's just a good feeling. I know I asked you getting a win, but now we're talking post game again, and you got Rutgers coming up, but you're back on the winning side of things. How good does that feel moving forward?
It feels good. We needed one. We've lost 5 straight. And it kind of felt like we lost our identity there for a little bit. We had to regain our confidence and regain what got us the wins that we got early in the year, which is defending and rebounding. I know that second half wasn't really as good as we were in the first half, but just we got to be able to put 40 minutes together and of defending and rebounding, and I think we'll be fine moving forward. So good job tonight with the fellas.
Keyshawn, you're talking about your identity. What do you think this Oregon team's identity is?
I think our identity when we were winning games was our defensive rebounding, and we kind of got away from that. But to answer your question, our identity is defensive rebounding. We got to really anchor down on that, because that's what wins in March, and in February, obviously, we kind of got away from it, and we paid for it.
And you go through a small stretch like that where you've played some unbelievable basketball early in the season, go through a little bit of a tough stretch. Talk about your mindset and the mindset of the leaders on your team coming into this game.
Our mindset, we always got to stay positive, right? It's a long season. The same way you can get up and win 7-6 in a row, you could lose 5 in a row like we did. You can't put your head down, man. Other teams are going to come in here, they're not feeling sorry for us at all. We got to stay positive and keep listening to Coach, man. He's been here, he's done that at the highest level. So as players, as leaders, we just got to listen to him and just trickle that identity down to everybody else on the team, and I feel like we can take steps towards that.
Keyshawn, thanks for the time. Get that dinner, get that rest. Thank you,
it's
sir.
It's 10 o'clock.
Good job tonight.
10:37.
10:37, there you go.
Thanks, Key. Keyshawn Bartholomew with us after another performance where, again, the Ducks needed a bucket when Northwestern took the lead. Who's the guy that got the bucket? Who's the guy that hit the 3? It was Keyshawn Bartholomew. He's done that night in, night out. Rutgers, 4 o'clock Sunday, the next opponent for Oregon men's basketball. Quick timeout. When we return, some good updates for Oregon lacrosse, and then we're getting ready for Oregon women's basketball tonight against the Dogs on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you. On the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Oregon lacrosse, 2-0 start. We're going to talk with Jess Drummond, the head coach, tomorrow. Nice win over Stetson to move to 2-0. 17-7, and Oregon really pulled away late. Also of note, Oregon lacrosse midfielder Anna Simmons has been named the Big Ten Conference Midfielder of the Week. Announced it yesterday. Dominant in the Ducks' 18-6 win over Butler. Washington native scored 6 goals on just 7 shots on goal, matched her career high. Also tallied a draw control, a ground ball, caused a turnover against the Bulldogs. Now, here's what's interesting. It's her first career weekly award for Simmons, who was one of 3 Ducks to be named to the Big Ten preseason players to watch list. But she actually had a great performance against Stetson, and that game on Tuesday morning, afternoon, didn't even influence this award. The deadline was already passed. And she then proceeded to have a great day in the 17-7 win. Scored each of Oregon's first 3 goals before finding the back of the net 4 times in the second half, while also recording 5 draw controls, caused a turnover and a ground ball. Actually had a better day against Stetson than she did against Butler, and she is the midfielder of the week as announced by the Big Ten Conference. Anna Simmons putting together a great career, an early great start to the season. We'll talk with her head coach, Jess Drummond, on the show tomorrow. Meanwhile, Kelly Graves and the Oregon women's basketball team in action tonight. 6 o'clock tip-off, 5:30 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. Ducks hosting the Huskies. Chris Clayton sat down with Kelly Graves as part of our Toyota Coaches Show.
Back in the studio again with Oregon head coach Kelly Graves. Thanks for braving the cold and coming in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a little cold. Yeah, no worries. So
fresh off the matchup with UCLA. You said in the post-game press conference that you were proud of the team, and there was a lot to like. I think a lot of Duck fans were proud of the team. There's no moral victories, but there was some things that were certainly positive coming out of that game.
Well, no doubt. I mean, we played well enough to win the game. Right, in pretty much any area except our shooting percentage. We didn't shoot well from the field or definitely from the 3. But we rebounded well. We took care of the ball. We forced more turnovers. A lot of the things that we wanted to do, we did. But in the end, it just wasn't enough, when you're playing the number 1 team. And they're undisputed number 1. Right. I mean, they are legit. And, you just can't have those kind of nights, right? You've got to be almost, not perfect, but you've got to be about as good as you can be. And we were in a lot of ways except shooting the basketball. So you're right, no moral victories, but I was proud of the team.
Yeah, and you cut it to 2 early in the third, you made a run in the fourth, and you were able to cut it to 7 after a couple Nani Falatea shots. And it just seemed like UCLA kept responding, but you were getting right there and down the stretch.
Yeah, well, that's what good teams do, right? They, another team will make a run and they make a play. We just never made that one basket that kind of put us over the hump. I kept telling the team that, if we can tighten this up late in the game, they're the ones that are going to get tight, not us. Mm-hmm. We were playing with nothing to lose, and we just could never make that key shot or that key play. But I was proud of our defense. I mean, to hold a vaunted offense like that to 62 points, and Lauren Betts, who's unquestionably the best player in the country right now, to only 9 points and 6 or 7 rebounds, whatever she ended up getting. That was we did a great job there. We just didn't have enough, to win the game.
What was the game plan to containing her, and how do you feel like the team executed that?
Well, we had a couple of different plans. I think you go into every game with a plan A and a plan B. Mm-hmm. And if those don't work, you've got plan C, and that means we're in trouble, right?
Right.
So our plan A was, to just play Philly on Lauren man-to-man. And then when they subbed Lauren out, we subbed Philly and vice versa. And she did a great job.
Yeah.
Philly did a great job and didn't need a double team that often. She got it from time to time, but our plan B was to hard double her when she got it. But she's such a great passer. People forget she also averages 4 assists a game. We're not the first team to double team her, in the block. But I thought Philly did a great job of pushing her out further than she's comfortable. And then, she can match her size-wise, and just made it difficult on her, and then didn't give her the second shot. And she does such a great job on the second shot, and Philly didn't give her any. So I'm super proud of Philly.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the team for holding her down. But again, it wasn't enough, right?
Right.
Then the London Jones kid hits 5 threes on us. A couple on broken plays.
Yeah.
And those are killers.
Mm-hmm. And it was obviously a team effort defensively, but to your point with Philly, do you feel like she was motivated by playing an elite center like Lauren Betts to try and prove herself and contain her on an individual basis?
Yeah, I don't know what her motivation was. We tried to pump her up in terms of, hey, you can play her, to a draw. You're as good as her, and all those kind of things. What Philly has improved on, she still struggles to finish and her patience on offense, but defensively, I think she's better this year, and certainly during Big Ten play, I think she's better than she's ever been.
And offensively, you talk about just not quite enough. Do you like the shots you're getting, or could be some better creation and playmaking in that respect?
All of the above.
Okay.
Yeah, we get enough good shots to where, we should be better than 2 for 17 from the 3. I mean, they're not all forced. They're not all contested. A lot of those are open. And, and that's just, as you well know, that's been one of our bugaboos all year. But, yeah, you can always, get better shots. You can always get downhill and to the rim. We don't have a lot of those players that attack super well. However, we did get to the line 21 times last night. One of our goals that we set is we want to make more free throws than our opponent shoots. And that happened last night. I think it was even. I think they shot 16 and we made 16. But, listen, I thought we were aggressive and did get to the line enough.
What was the message to the team in the locker room, and then in this week in practices? You have a pretty quick turnaround with the game on Wednesday.
Yeah, this was a tough stretch. I mean, you go Maryland, then 3 days later you have, the number 1 team, so 2 ranked teams, and then, 3 days later you've got your rival, who we haven't played yet, ironically. Right. We're this late in the season. Number one, the tone in the locker room was much different than it was against Maryland, right? We're still disappointed. There weren't happy faces in there. We're a program that doesn't believe in just playing people close. Like you said, moral victories. We're not into that. And they were disappointed, you could tell. But at the same time, you could almost tell there was some relief. hey, we are a good team. I mean, we went toe-to-toe with the best team in the country. We didn't get it done ultimately, but we can. And so I think going forward with our 5 remaining games in conference play, all of whom are against teams that either have the same amount of wins as us or fewer.
Yeah.
Right? I think we feel good about our future.
One thing you talked about with the Maryland game is, especially early in that one, you weren't happy with the tenacity, the intensity. Do you feel like the team responded well in that respect against UCLA?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. We met together as a team, I guess, Friday.
Friday, okay.
Friday. And
I couldn't even help you
just
either.
talk things over. We had a great bonding exercise, and we didn't really do much in terms of practice at all. We walked through, and then had a good practice the day before UCLA, and I think they responded. No question about it on Sunday. And we're going to need that same kind of effort on Wednesday because Washington. They've got to get some wins. They're in a position right now where they're on the outside looking in. So guaranteed we're going to get their absolute best shot.
Yeah. You mentioned attacking the rim and getting inside. It seemed like Nani Falatea, we've seen her score this year and hit threes, but haven't always seen her have as much success off the dribble as she had against UCLA. Was that a point of emphasis for her to get to the rim?
Yeah, we really encouraged her to do that because we just and I think putting her in that starting lineup I think helps her too. It gave her maybe some confidence, but yeah, she was as aggressive as I've seen her this year, and I'm really happy for her. And we need her to continue to do that. I thought Deja was pretty good too, especially early in that game. Trying to get downhill and create some stuff. Without your leading scorer in Peyton Scott, and Lisa's still hurt, you can tell she's really favoring that right hand. We were a little depleted in the backcourt, but Ari, who I know you're going to have in here later in the show, has filled in just very, very well. She, against Maryland, hit a bunch of threes, and defensively she always makes things happen. And then Katie Fiso, I thought, really came in and played well for us. And for a freshman to do that in a big game like this, I think is very encouraging.
Yeah, you mentioned we're bringing Ari Long in. We're excited to talk to her. What does she bring to the team, and how have you seen her improve over the course of this season?
This is only a good thing. She has no conscience, which I love,
Yes.
And if you're a shooter, that's the way you got to be. If you miss 4 or 5 in a row, you got to believe that you're going to make the next 4 or 5, and that's who she is. She never hesitates on that. But I've been most impressed with kind of the way she can attack the basket offensively, and then her defense. She's long, gets a hand. No pun intended, I guess.
Nice.
But gets a hand on a lot of balls and makes things happen. And I think we're sometimes better defensively when she's on the court. The problem is we have so many good guards that all have earned and also deserved playing time. It's hard to get 7 guards in for 3 positions, and so that's why she doesn't play maybe a little bit more. But she is just a sophomore. We graduate 3 senior, very good guards, and so I think she's got a real bright future.
And now you take on Washington on Wednesday. You alluded to it already, but as you've scouted them and prepared, what stands out about the Huskies that is going to be a challenge?
They play really hard, number one. I think Tina does a great job as a coach. They're very well coached. They're very cohesive. They don't lose a lot of kids in transfer, and so they can develop some chemistry and cohesion. And then they have really good guards. I was looking at their bio sheet last night after our game, and I think in conference play they've had like 4 or 5 different leading scorers,
right,
and several of them have scored more than 20. I don't know if we have a 20-point scorer in conference play yet, not one time. And they've got 5 or 6 different ones that can do that, including Ellie Ledeen scored 40 against Northwestern. So they're very offensive-minded. They've got a good inside game with Delia Daniels, but their strength lies in their guards, Ledeen, Steins, Sellers in the backcourt. So they're, which is good because that's our strength too. So hopefully we can neutralize, their outside game.
And we're coming down the home stretch now. There's only 5 Big Ten games left, amazingly. And to your point, these are a lot of games against teams where you're jostling for position in the standings. So these final 5 games are going to be important.
Talked to the team about that last night. One of our goals obviously is to get into the NCAA tournament. I would certainly think we're tournament worthy team, but I think we obviously still have some work to do. I believe that we get 3 wins. We're going to be tough to keep out. You have a 10-8 conference record in this conference. That says something, especially when we have a couple of quad 1 wins. We have a couple quad 1. I think 3 of our games left are quad 1 opportunities, all 3 road games. And I think Nebraska has 7 wins. Minnesota has 7 wins. Washington has 5 wins. We play them twice, and then we play Rutgers. So we're even or ahead of every team we're playing left. And so we just somehow got to get 3 of those wins. And I think if we do that, we hopefully we'll be a tournament team.
Yep. Only a couple home games left, and a huge opportunity Wednesday for the fans to come out. What kind of difference do fans make in these type of games?
They make a great difference, and hopefully they understand that. I think we try to say that in most press conferences. And actually yesterday I thought we had a great crowd, considering we're that close to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
To have over 6,000 fans there, means a lot. And I think they appreciate the kind of basketball that we're playing. Yeah, they get frustrated that we don't make more baskets, but they don't question our heart, our toughness, how hard we play. And I think fans, they're typically happy with effort. Yes. They obviously want to win them all, and we've been pretty good at home. I think we're 13-3 this year at Matthew Knight. But, we got to get this one on Wednesday, so we need everybody out.
That's right. Should be fun. Wednesday, 6 p.m. against the Huskies. Always a fun rivalry. Thanks for coming in, Coach.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Ducks and Dogs tonight. That's Kelly Graves talking with Chris Clayton, and Chris and Bev have the pregame show at 5:30 this evening. Next up, Emma Cox. Great start to the season for Oregon softball. That's coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live. For the better of myself, my family, my weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you here in the Country Financial Studio. After a 5-0 start for Oregon softball and Emma Cox hitting a couple home runs, she met with the media this week. Now getting ready for a trip to Arizona. First matchup is in Tempe against Arizona State at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Emma Cox breaking down a little Oregon softball for us.
So you get the starting role in your opening weekend, and you take it, and you have just an amazing weekend at the plate. I mean, just again, kind of the same thing with Stephanie. What was it like to finally play against a different opponent? And I mean, how did you just feel about your performance overall?
Yeah, I think coming into my first game, I was just a little bit nervous, as you would expect. But I talked to Coach Rowe beforehand, and we just talked about, she's like, you know what, once you have your first at bat and you see some good pitches, you get on base, like you'll be fine after that. So I was just focused on my first at bat, like doing the best I can, focusing on my job and not focusing on any outcomes or any like way that I feels or emotions. I was just trying to stay neutral and execute my job. And then it kind of just helped me settle in after there. And I will say that my teammates have done an amazing job of making me feel more comfortable when I'm in an uncomfortable situation, and they've been super awesome. So,
what did you imagine your first week of games being like, and what you ended up doing? Is that what you initially envisioned, or did you far exceed the expectations of what you expected to do?
Yeah, I would say I wasn't expecting to do as well as I did. But like I said before, I just kind of got to this place where I was like, good or bad, the outcome, I'm just not going to worry about the outcome. We're going to focus on what I can control, and whatever happens, happens. And whether it's good or bad, like my identity isn't rooted in softball. So we're just going to be neutral, whatever happens. And it happened to be good. So I was like, heck yeah, we'll take it.
How did it feel for the first time getting to handle this pitching staff in a live game action?
Super fun. I love our pitchers a lot. They are grinders and they want to win. So I felt like it was easy kind of coming in because they made me feel so comfortable, and I have a great relationship with all of them, and they were super awesome to me. So I would just say it was a fun experience. They're awesome.
Curious because you made a couple of references to neutral. You read Trevor Mawad's?
It takes what it takes. Yeah, we're working on it as a group.
All right, I guess.
Thanks to Coach Rowe.
Is that the book that Coach Rowe is having you read?
Yes. We're going through it as a team right now, talking about neutral thinking and just what it looks like, and trying to minimize like the roller coaster of emotions that we go through as college athletes. And we're trying to minimize the ups and downs so we can kind of just operate from a neutral space, neutral thinking. So, yeah.
Have you gotten to the Oregon reference in that book yet?
No, sir. I'm sure we'll find it, though.
There's an Oregon women's basketball reference in there. I won't spoil it.
Emma, just kind of speaking on that, obviously, when you guys are having the highs that you guys had this past weekend, how do you guys make sure you don't maybe let that get to you guys, don't get a little bit too full of yourself, obviously, as the competition continues to ramp up, not only this week, but obviously in the weeks after that as well?
Yeah, I would say that whatever we did last weekend was last week, and it doesn't affect our next weekend. So we're just going to continue on like defining what our jobs are, what we need to do, focusing on what we can control, and whatever happens. And like I said, last week was last week. We're focused on next week, one game at a time, taking the next right step, and just doing the best we can with what we have.
Kind of segueing off of that, but because you guys did do so well, but not wanting to focus on that, what are some of the opportunities that you personally take from the series that you had this last weekend for improvements, things that you want to tweak? Or
me personally, I would say I would like to control the running game a little bit better. Felt that I was a little bit on my heels as a catcher, so want to be able to command the running game better, and then just kind of keep doing what I'm doing offensively, and just kind of keep the same mindset there, taking the positives with us, but yeah, just focusing on the next thing.
What was Coach Lombardi's message to the team after this past weekend? What did she tell you guys after the first 5 games? Anything you can recall specifically?
That we get to wear slides to the airport and we get Prince Pucklers was the main thing, but that's kind of all I remember. No, but yeah, I think our coaching staff was happy with what we did, but they're still kind of saying the same message to us about like, yeah, like this was great. Let's take our wins, but let's keep focusing on our process and not the outcomes, and let's just keep going, keep doing what we're doing, keep the momentum, but understand what got us to that point and repeat the process.
That second homer that you hit on Friday going the opposite way when the winds had been blowing out to the left all morning, how big is that for you to show your power to all fields and be able to utilize the whole field when you're at the plate?
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I hit a home run, it's usually when I'm not trying to. So when it happens, I'm like, oh, that was awesome. So I don't know. Not much to say about that, but just glad that it happened, I will say.
How did it feel to go back-to-back with Paige twice?
Oh, I love when Paige bats behind me in the lineup. She fires me up. It was super fun. She's an awesome teammate, so we were excited in the dugout.
Did you guys have like a friendly wager? Because every time you did something, she tried to one-up it.
Yes, I was like, Paige, you got to stop showing me up. No, there was one at bat where I think she hit a home run and then I didn't, and she was like, Emma, where were you? Where were you that at bat? And I was like, sorry, Paige, that's on me.
What was it like being in a game mode with Coach Lombardi? This is someone obviously that you've known a while in recruiting and obviously in practice, but what was it like seeing her in her element as a head coach?
I would say she's just very consistent. So what we get at practice is also what we get in the game. So I felt the same as I do every day with her. She's a consistent woman. We know what the expectations are. So yeah, pretty much the same.
Any difference with in-game pitch calling and just the sequencing of when it's actually a game as opposed to practice and scrimmages and those sorts of things?
Honestly, I didn't notice a big gap with anything, whether it was like Coach Martyr calling things or Coach Lombardi calling it home. Like what you saw was kind of what our scrimmages tend to look like in practice, which is a good thing because we were practicing the right things apparently. So yeah, not a huge gap.
Anything else, Raymond? Go ahead. Not that this is your first time, but pitch comms, what did you think of them? What was your thoughts of kind of having that technology?
Yeah, I love pitch comms because they just make it super easy and then there's not a whole lot of room for error. So all those small mistakes that you could have in a game, calling pitches or messing up signs, it takes those away and helps you focus more on just executing the one that you get. So I'm a big fan. I like them a lot.
It keeps the pace of the game up, too, the pitch comm, what Emma Cox was just talking about there. Great start to her career. Now there's a scouting report on her. See what Arizona State has in store for the Ducks after a 5-0 start. When we come back, hearing from another freshman talking a little softball, Stephanie Maake, when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. Going to let you hear a little bit of what Stephanie Maake had to say after 2 home runs in her freshman weekend debut for the Ducks. First time you've got the bat in your hand as a freshman, and You ended up hitting a couple home runs over the weekend. Both Emma Cox and Stephanie Maake did that for Duck softball, and Stephanie Maake also met with the media this week.
Got a couple home runs in your Oregon debut weekend. Just how did it feel to be out there, and what was it like to just step into the box and finally take a swing against another team?
Yeah, it felt good. It felt so much better than facing our pitchers. I'm kind of sick and tired of facing them, and so being able to hit off, it was a good feeling.
You had some expectations, what you wanted to do coming into. What you did out there, your performance, how did that measure up to what your expectations were?
I just wanted to hit some home runs, if I'm being honest. My expectations was get on base, see ball, hit ball, and I think I kind of executed that very well.
You weren't obviously the only freshman. It felt like all the freshmen are really stepping up in these last 5 games. Just what did you feel like some of the other people in your class and what you guys were able to do over the last 5 games?
Yeah, Riley McCoy fielded some ground balls, got a walk. She definitely stepped up. Emma Cox hitting a home run, getting Big Ten Freshman of the Week. And then Elise Crescio. All the freshmen stepped up to the plate in big moments and just really executed the game plan well.
What did it mean to you that Coach Lombardi trusted you to put you in the cleanup spot in your first college game?
I was a little nervous, if I'm being honest, but it meant a lot that she had enough trust in me to put me there, and yeah.
When you're in that situation, how big is it to have someone like Kai Lujar, who all 5 games, not only does she get on, but she's on second base before the second batter's even up, basically?
Having Kai as second, it really puts a little bit of pressure on me, but knowing that I can execute that game plan well to move her and advance her is good.
This freshman group, I would imagine, pretty well. You guys all came in at the same time. I'm just wondering, how hungry is this group of freshmen in this squad?
This, like Coach said, this group is very special. Version 7 is special, and with our energy as the freshman class, as Coach has been harking on, is we're a different class. And so having all of us be as hungry as we are and being able to show that on the field means a lot to Coach Lombardi.
That's pretty cool to hear, talking about a freshman class that's already made a bit of an instant impact for Oregon softball. The Ducks are now next on the road. That was Stephanie Maake meeting with the media here this week. Her and Emma Cox both hitting a pair of home runs. Ducks are 5-0, looking for 6-0 against Arizona State on Thursday. The Ducks playing Arizona State and then staying in the state of Arizona for matchups with Grand Canyon, with Weber State, and the weekend is a busy one for Duck softball with that tournament environment over the weekend. Coming up tonight, Oregon women's basketball. We'll see you at Matthew Knight Arena, 6 o'clock tip.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.